welcome to the Dennis Clark Art School, and today we're going to be looking at something quite interesting. Quite often what happens is you've got a photograph that you want to draw, but it's all skew and the angles are out this way, or the photograph's taken at an angle, and it's quite a job then on its own just to sort of mentally figure out all these things while you're drawing. Now, the easy way to do this is if you've got a photo editing program, nice little icon that's got on there, and it's called the crop perspective tool. And if you've just got that, you're quite well away. And another one as well too is we're able to change the contrast and the lighting on your photograph. Let's go have a look and see how we can accomplish this. Right, here we now in the photo impact, which is one of the photo editing softwares. You can use Photoshop, you can use Paint Shop Pro, or you can use the free GIMP. There's quite a few of the others, but my one that I'm using is Photo Impact. Now, to be able to straighten out the photographs and also to change the contrast, what we do is first of all go along and bring in, I have in my temporary documents, I have a temporary file, and I've got this one photograph here from a Morg file, and I'll double click that one and we'll bring it into the software. Quite often the photograph is a bit dark and you can't see the detail, so that's not a worry. What we do is we go up to this here, up to photo, and then we can go to light, and there's two ways you can do it. Let's go quickly go back. You can go into brightness and contrast, or we can go into the levels. But let's go to the levels. There's a 1, and down here you have a histogram, and this is for your light and that's for your dark. So if you want to lighten it, what we do is you can click that one, move it across, and if you see on the right hand side picture that's getting a bit lighter, you can bring it further and you can lighten it up. You'll have a change in color, but we're not worried about the color, we want to see the detail. So you can lighten that up there, etc. And if you're happy with that one, you can see quite a bit more detail inside here than you can there. And here on it's very dark, this here on that, but you can see it's much lighter. So we click OK, and there we have a lighter one, and from here we can work. So let's carry on with this one and use it as our example. When you want to do, if you want to paint later, you can go back and check out your original photograph and work from there. But for drawing and you want to get all the details, you can use something like this. Alright, now we want to come along and straighten out these, because what happens is the camera is, by virtue of the type of lens being used, especially if it's a wide angle lens, or you tilt it upwards, it will do this. But if you actually in the gondola, you can see the gondola down the bottom here, and you're looking with your normal eye, your brain straightens all these out, and you will see all these here as verticals as you go down the canal. Now what we want to do now is to come along and change it to the verticals, so when we do a drawing and a painting of this one, it looks like as when you actually see it and not as the camera sees it. So right, here we have in this one and if you want to go and change the perspective of this one, we go here, and on the left hand side you'll see you got that one there, and you click onto that one, it'll come out with a crop tool or a perspective tool. Crop tool is just crop anything out and keep the perspective exactly as it is, but we want to change the perspective. Okay, so let's click on the perspective crop tool, and you'll see in there you've got that two little set squares and a little line through it. Okay, now usually the top left hand corner is the one where it starts from, so let's do that. You see it's on that top left hand corner. Okay, let's just get out of that one. Get out, let's go back into the perspective one, and inside here you can see you can start working with all that inside. So let's do this one first. You can see what happens. You can take that down into that corner, click. Just going to wait till it calculates a little bit. You can see there. It'll come back. It's an old program, so it's with a new technology camera technology desktop. Okay, there we go. You get on that one. We'll put that down into that corner. Now we want to straighten this out, you see, so we need to take that corner, and now what we're going to do, you can see, you can string that across this way, to the left, to the right. Now I'm going to pull it across so that it's catching one of these, so that it catches a nice parallel line. It looks clear. Take it right to the top. Right, now we take this corner and bring it near the top, and then we try and line. You see, you've got the same thing. You can line that up with one of the lines as close as what you can. Could they do that again? I think that's more or less parallel to those lines that are going up and up. Okay, now here we have the lines, and you can see the dark patches on the left and on the right. That will disappear when we double click and get this all straightened out. So you can see what you do. You're losing quite a bit from there to there, and it depends on the type of photograph that you want to do, or drawing that you want to do. So right, let's double click that one and see what this comes out to be. Okay, so let's come down. There you can see now we have a reasonably straightened one, where these are almost vertical. We can always test that. Just go back to here, get the crop tool, and then we can check the lines, you see. So let's bring some of that down, and now we can pull down and have a look, or pull on the side and pull that and check it against some of these other verticals that you've got here. So right down the bottom you can see it's on that pillar. Almost, but for all practical purposes that one's okay. And the same on this side here, on the right hand side. Oh dear, let's quickly get back, do that again. Right, let's get back down to here, and the crop tool across, and across the side here you can see that's down here on the side of the wall. That's pretty close. So for practical purposes, we could leave this one as it is. And you bring this up here, and roughly about here is the horizon. Of course, you can see all the lines on here are going from this point, going upwards, and from this point, it actually, all the lines are down. So this, roughly at this point here, and is your vanishing point. But let's crop this, because the top bit there is not nice for drawing. There's a lot of empty space, so let's crop this one to about here. And here we have a nice almost a square type. Now from here you can go along and do your drawing, etc. Another little interesting feature here is that, let's say you want to straighten out this line here and not have it at an angle. You can see this is dropped down, and we want this to be nice and horizontal. Although this will still make a nice drawing, let's say we want to keep this one horizontal here. So what we need to do, let's take, I've still got the crop tool at the moment, let's take that across to the end and have a look. Now if you can set that, you can see that if you project that line, it's almost to there where this point is here, and you project that one, it's down about here. So what we need to do is we need to drop this on the perspective one, drop this one down about that much on the top to lift that, and we lift this line up and make this parallel. So let's go to the perspective tool and go through the top, bring that wire down to the bottom there. We're not going to put it onto this line here, otherwise when you click to straighten it out, you're going to lose all this top half. So what we need to do is to click this top one here. We get that there, and then bring that down until it's about parallel with this. Now there's other different ways that you can do that. While it is like this one, you can take a measurement from there to there, and let's leave that one there. You can take a measurement from that point down to this point, and that's from down to see if it's more or less the same. Or you can do that, leave it as it is, or you can fold a piece of paper that fits just in between, this little bit shorter than the top, in between, line it up at the bottom, and then you can line the top one with the top edge of that paper, and then you'll get it right. I've often done that as well too. Or if there's no space, I'll put a ruler along that line against the on the screen, and then bring this one down to this parallel. Another way to do that, let's estimate it across there, double click, and there it's good. Now we can check it again. Let's bring that line across. You can see we haven't got it enough. Now we need to do a little bit more. So let's go back to the perspective one. Alright, let's take this and bring it down to the bottom again. Right, we take that. Right, now we take that corner, bring it down to the bottom, because we need to go back to the right. Now we need to take the stop end and bring that up against the line, and It's say roughly about there. Bring that up again roughly to, I think that's about where it should be, the rough guess. And double click. There we have it. And let's check it. Go to the crop tool, because that keeps the lines horizontal and vertical without going skew. Let's check that. Bring this line up. It's as close as what we're going to get it. Right, let's bring that down to that corner there. Right, now we've got our thirds and across, you can see there as well. Okay, now this is close to the 1/3 in that area there. It's the best what you're going to get it in this photograph. But now you can see, now we see it as your brain and your eye will see it if in the natural going down this canal. You will see all these as verticals and you'll see that as horizontal. So from here we can actually go along and draw this one and then use the other photograph as the other. But now we come to a stage now where we need to think out of the box. So in other words, let's take this perspective tool once again. You'll notice it's inside, outside it doesn't show at all, so that whatever you want to do you can't work outside. But now we need to work outside the box, and I found that if you go along, right, first of all let's get this out, save changes. I'm going to say yes, and let's go along and pick up its what happened, it changed the original photograph. Okay, so let's go and get the original photograph. There we go. And there we have the original photograph again, and look, nothing is happening on the outside. Now what I found out, if you go along and you maximize, you see there's the maximize button, and you maximize that, so in other words it brings it into the whole screen, and you don't have the JPEG outlines and everything. Now you can see, now this goes on the outside. Now if I want to get more of the sides than the other, you can come along, let's bring this, because we're thinking out of the box, let's bring that all on the outside. But we need to keep the bottom, so I'm going to keep that one down at the bottom. It's good enough at the top there. Okay. Now, if we want to get more of this on the side and keep some of this one, so let's take that, bring it along the top line, and I'm going to bring it in here. You're going to sort of do some judging, and take this other one. Right, now we take that corner and we take that, let's take it about, let's leave it there, go back to the top one, and right, we grab that there. Now we're going to line that up also, that is also parallel to some of these other lines that we've got. So we've got one. Right, we take that top corner Right, now we take that and we're going to line this up with one of the lines that are along here. Now there's that shadow line going up there, and we line it roughly there. Now what's going to happen is you're going to lose this, but you're going to add this little piece on. Now let's go to the other one. I'm going to leave this one there. The further you put it out, it means the more space that you've got on the side here that you're going to have to add in your drawing. Right, now let's take this top one now, top right hand one, we bring that across, and let's line it sort of more, it's up. After you can't line it with any of the other ones because of the radial. You could align it with one of the lines that you can see. So that's going to be roughly in there. If I look on those top windows, the top two windows there, that's more or less as it is. So let's get that. Now that we've sorted out this, you'll see what has actually happened is you see the width of this down the bottom there, up this way, is what you've now added on more than what we had on the previous one that we did from just inside the actual photograph itself. Okay, now we can straighten this out. We're going to double click. And there we have that. So now I'm going to just minimize it, make this a bit smaller. So I'm going to my zoom tool, and I'm going to right click, and then I've got that. So now you can see you're going to add these little bits here in your drawing, and you can guess those little bits on there. But now we've got some nicer stuff on the side than here. You can see this one here is still a little bit it's out to that way instead of this way. So right, but first let's go and get to our crop tool, and let's crop what we need to get out. So let's take that across and line it up down the bottom. And this area is going to make quite a nice photograph. So let's go back again, we double click that one, and that's going to be one for our drawing. Now this is also still a little bit skewed, but let's go to our zoom tool again. I want to go a bit bigger. Much too big. But you can see if you're short of detail, you want to do lots of detail, you can zoom in again and get all this. It's quite a very sharp photograph, this. So there we have that. And let's get to, let's see, go back to this. Yeah, right. Let's give one more click. I think that's almost right. Now we go to I'm going to straighten that out a bit, and we can straighten this out a bit here as well too. We can possibly do that in one shot. So let's go to our perspective crop tool, and this is down the bottom. So right, let's start at the top, much easier. Put that in that corner. Get that down to there. And that down. Bring this into this corner. Bring that one down into that corner. Okay, so down the bottom is okay. So let's go to the top end here. and I'm going to bring that down, hopefully get that one sort of more or less parallel across there for that one, and I'm going to go down, let's go down, let that calculate. Down, I'm to take this corner and sort of line it up a little bit with the other, just a little bit at a time, not too much. Look at it again, just that little piece. Okay, double click. Not quite, but it's good enough for drawing. And now you see this one here. Right, let's go to our crop tool. Now let's take a line across. And check that. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Look at that. Across there, we've done that one. Now let's get that. Let's bring that one down. Let's check these other verticals and see. Let's get there. And if we look at, all right, let's do it another way. Come on. The side of that window, it's a little bit out, but for drawing wise, that's easy just to straighten that out for yourself. So let's keep this one. Let's, all right. Take that to the side. Just fold it up. Up. We have that one. Okay, now we want to save this one, and don't do that just now. We need to save as, so that we keep all the other one and keep this as a brand new one. So go to File, Save As, and I need to go back to my temp file, Documents, to the temp file, and then save that. What shall we call it? Crop 1, but you can call it anything that you want to. We'll save that one, and you can see there in the one we have, the one that we have the lightened one, and let's say you want to make another painting out of this one. So let's go to our, right, we've got our crop tool here. So let's bring that again, and we don't want the actual bridge itself, so let's say we can bring that one in. That one, bring that one in there. Bottom one, bring that up a little bit. Let's go to the top there. Let's bring that one down. And here you have quite a nice little painting that you can make another one which is totally different to what we've got here now. But what I want you to notice in this one is that, again, there's a corner here. This one goes straight through, but on this side, on the right hand side, this side here is wider than this here because there's a corner. You can see that by the change of the roof from there to there, and also if you look at this angle, that line that goes down is different to that one. It's completely different from there to there. And then that one is almost the same as the other, so there's a bit of a kink, a little kink here and a kink there. But you can put that in as it is. It's very small. And if you want to keep it just as a pure one-point perspective, you can just take that one straight down to there. So let's double-click that one. And let's go to our zoom tool and bring it in here to there, fit in the window. Right. There we have a nice save as a JPEG. And look at that. It's totally different to the one you'd think. It's absolutely in a different place altogether. Here we have the top of the front, the bow of the gondola. There we have another gondolier on the other side, going through in these poles, and then going through all the little bridges all along, and all these. So you can use that one. So let's go to this one. We're going to go File, Save As, and let's call it Crop 2. We save that one, and let's go. Here's my temp file. What you can do is we can come in and bring in the file from the other one into your temp file, so that you have the original photograph and all these together. So you have that one, you've got this one here, and you've got that one. You can see two drawings that you can make from the one painting. So let's get out of that, and we can click this out, and we can actually then end this video. And we hope that you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you